Hello you awesome people, welcome to this lecture. One of the most common tasks for perhaps everyone related to IT is software installation. In fact, the browser or application you are watching this lecture currently is also a piece of software that needs to be installed by someone if not you, correct? In this lecture, we will explore how our good friend PowerShell can be of tremendous help while dealing with software installations. And most importantly, we are going to develop an end-to-end and a dynamic automation solution with the help of PowerShell scripting that can be easily extended to any software installation. Does that sound exciting? Well, let's get started then. If I give you a machine and ask you to ensure a particular software is installed in it, what is the process you will follow? Because if you clearly identify the steps involved in this process, our job is very easy. We just have to identify the correct PowerShell statements for those steps and just stitch those together to form a script out of it, right? So if you are asked to ensure a particular software is installed in a system, first of all, you will check whether it is already installed or no, correct? Because if the software is already installed, you simply want to skip the next steps, right? Why would you bother if it is already installed, correct? Because few installations need a system reboot in the end. There is no good reason why would you want to do that if the aim is just to ensure the software is installed, right? So this is the number one step. Next, what you will do is you have to grab the installer file, correct? The installer file could be in a shared network location, it could be on the internet and you have to download it from there, or maybe any other place, but you have to locate the installer file that you have to use, right? Next step will be, of course, to install the software, right? And another important thing is, while doing all of this, we must log the information so that if something goes wrong, we can always come to the logs and find out what is that was failed and how we can fix it, right? Okay. Now, since we have clearly identified the steps involved in this process, it is going to be absolutely fun to automate this process with the help of PowerShell. So let's get started. First of all, I am opening PowerShell ISE, and because we have to deal with software installation, I am running my PowerShell ISE as administrator. Okay. Now, my working directory is this C drive automation folder. So I'm switching to this. Let me create our script file. So it's going to be software installation with PowerShell.ps1. Okay. So first of all, we want to know whether our required software is already installed or no. The different softwares that are installed can be found from the registry setting. So it is a good idea to go to your registry setting, list down all different softwares that are installed and check whether our software of interest is there in that list or no, right? So at this location, all different 32-bit software applications are installed. Okay. So with PowerShell, we can always prepare a list of these applications and then check, right? So this is for 32-bit applications. And similarly, we have this another location where all different 64-bit applications are listed. Depending upon whether our application is 32-bit or 64-bit, we can prepare a list and check in this, right? So this is an explanation. Now let's talk about implementation. In order to access the registry setting, we can use this PowerShell commandlet called get item property. So we just have to specify the location and and it will give us all different items available over there, right? If you want to store this result, we can do that like this. So now we are storing this information inside this 32-bit software's variable, and we are selecting only particular columns. Okay, so now this list looks like this. Okay, similarly we can prepare a list for our 64-bit softwares also, right? So this is our 64-bit software list. Now if we have to prepare a list of all 32-bit and 64-bit softwares, well, it's just an addition of these two lists, right? So we can do it like this, and this will give us all different softwares, whether it is 32-bit or 64-bit. The moment we have this complete list of all different softwares, be it 32-bit or 64-bit, installed in our system, it must be a cakewalk to compare display name like our software. For instance, we are trying to install WinRAR, so I want to check whether it is already installed or no, right? So I'll just write a statement like this, and it suggests yes, it is installed, this is its version, and it's a 64-bit software. So this is the display name of my tool. Okay, while this confirms the software is already installed, we can also validate in this list, and indeed this software is installed, right? So well, if it is already installed, why do we care about installing it again and restarting system? Maybe all of that is not needed. That is the logic we are trying to build. Now it is perfectly fine to keep this code in your script and write a if loop around this logic. I want to make the things simple. Why? Because I am very sure the software I am trying to install is a 64-bit, and I am only going to deal with 64-bit softwares. Okay, so I do not want to carry this baggage of 32-bit softwares at all. For this reason, I just want to remove this, okay, and keep the logic simple. I'll just keep a variable over here. Okay, so there is some software name that I want to check if it is there, and I have kept this registry location of place where 64-bit applications are listed. Okay, around this we have this if loop. If the software is there, it will go inside, it will say software is already installed, and it will say exiting, right? We ideally should keep an exit statement which should take us out of our PowerShell, but for demonstration part I want to keep this statement commented out. Okay, in the else block it will simply log software is not installed, so proceeding with this installation. Fair enough, right? Moving on, it is time to grab the installer file and proceed with installation if the software is not installed already, right? As per your organization standards, you have to identify from where you want to take the installer file. For some organizations, it is completely okay to download the software for some specific websites directly from internet and use it, whereas some organizations strictly prohibit internet download and enforce only the certified installers which they themselves place in the network location should be used for carrying out any installations, right? So based on your policy, you can continue. My approach is, if your package that needs to be installed is available at a network location, you can always specify it over here as a UNC path, and then use PowerShell's commandlet called copy-item to copy that package to the destination directory. So if you do not want to download it from internet, you are good. And if for your organization it is okay to download the package from internet, we just need the HTTP path of that installer file and we can proceed from there. And how do we grab this HTTP URL is very simple. Just search for WinRAR or whichever software you want to install. Just search for it. And once you click on this link with which file download begins, we are good at that point. Just go to downloads, cancel this download as we are not interested in this. We just want to grab this URL and we are good, right? So we just can come here and paste this. You can use the same approach for any other software also. For example, 7-zip install. If you want to download and install 7-zip, just follow the same steps. Here you have this download link. Click on it. Did it trigger a download? Yes, it did. So just go ahead, cancel it, grab this location, and we are good, because whenever we will hit this HTTP URL, it will download the file which we want in our case, right? So this is the approach. So we grabbed the URL. Now let's add the piece. Now let's add the logic to download the file, right? So this is my source file location. Now the installation file is inside my destination directory and it will look like this. You can give whatever name you want to give to your installation file, right? Of this, okay, winrar.exe. Okay, then installation file. Should we always download the installation file from internet? Well, if it is already downloaded, why your PowerShell script should always download the file? Not needed, right? In WinRAR, if it is just 3 or 4 MB file, you don't care, but installer file could be bigger than that also, right? So if your requirement is, so if it is not essential for you to download your installer file all the time, you can keep this check. So we are checking whether, okay, let me first load these variables and then test path. So I'm testing whether this file is available over here, and it is false. And if I execute this much, let's say it is giving true, right? What this means is the installer file is not there. So let's go ahead and download it, right? And if it goes inside, first of all, it will create the installer file, this directory installers, and it will force it. If this folder is already there and files are available inside it, it will not touch anything. So it is completely safe to execute this statement, right? If it is not there, it will create this directory. That's it. And after that, we are invoking the URL that we grabbed earlier, and then we are specifying the installation file. That's it, right? So let me execute our script which we have developed so far. Clearing my screen, saving everything, selecting it all, run it. And there we go. Our installation seems to be completed and this file is available over here, which is pretty good, right? I just want to reiterate this. Ideally, since this software is already installed, our script should have ended at this point itself. I have purposefully commented this out so that I can continue in this script. So don't bother in thinking because the script is telling here it is exiting, why did it continue? It's purely intentional, right? Okay, great. So we have successfully checked whether the software is installed already or no, and after that we are able to grab the software directly from internet to our local directory. Now what we are left with? Installing this software in our system. What we are waiting for? Let's do it. In order to install the package, what we have to do is use start process PowerShell's commandlet, specify what is the installer file that you want to install, and pass the switch /s. So this is for silently installing the installer file because you do not want to interact, right? And then we have these few other optional switch for our PowerShell commandlet, and we just have to execute this. Once the installation is completed, it is a good idea to validate again that whether in the end the software is installed successfully or not, right? So for this reason we are keeping this. Okay, I'm saving this and executing the entire script. So it has downloaded and then it is saying software is installed successfully. Well, you have every reason to not trust me because our software was already installed, right? So I'm uninstalling it first. You can see it is gone. Now I'm also deleting this file. Okay, and then we will install it fresh. So executing the entire script again. So this time, because the file is missing in this location, it is again downloading the file, and as you can see, it is clearly indicating software is installed successfully. It's time to go and validate here, and we are able to see WinRAR is installed successfully. Well, congratulations. In the beginning itself, we discussed that this entire script should write into a log file because we will not be attending the installation. So logging becomes important, and for this reason we can keep this very simple log. So I'm just starting the transcript in the beginning. We are writing the log messages into this particular location, and in the end we are stopping the transcript. Stop transcript. So with this we can expect the log messages to be written in this file. Clearing my screen and triggering a fresh and running the script again. Good. Now let's go to this location, one level up, and yes, inside log folder this file is available, which we can open and see for ourselves. So yes, our log messages are here. Software is already installed. Exiting, but it didn't exit, of course. And then this is our installation process, and then software is installed successfully. Transcript is ended, right? So let me close this, and what we will do is go here. I want to uncomment this. Okay, so saving it, and with this let me again run this. So I'm launching Windows PowerShell again, run as administrators, run as administrator, yes, and coming here I want to switch to this directory and then execute our script. So software installation with PowerShell, hit run. So this file is already existing and it is not able to overwrite it. So what I want to do is remove this no clobber and pass this force, save it, clear my screen and run this script again. Okay, so this time since the software is already installed, it exited at this very end and the information is successfully recorded in our transcript. Well, this is good, but if we cannot extend this script to another software without making major changes, then there is no fun, right? So what I want to do is make a clone of this script and I want to install so this time with PowerShell we want to install another software called Notepad++. So I want to name my file as this one, install -notepad++, okay, and open it in PowerShell. It is same script, we just have to make minor tweaks here and there. So this time file I want to name as log file should be Notepad++, indicating this software installation, right? And we have to grab Notepad++ installation file. So I am saying Notepad++ download. I am clicking here and then download button, and clicking on this button is triggering the download of this file. So I can just go to the downloads and grab this link, copy link address, come to PowerShell and just replace this. Okay, I don't care whatever it is. For me, what is important is whenever I hit this URL in my browser, it is downloading the installer file for me. So this is there. Then I want to name this file as notepad++ download file, right? And this also I want to change as notepad. This software name, we have to keep it aligned with how it will look inside our registry settings. Okay, so we have to tweak keeping this in mind. Okay, after making these couple of small changes, I'm saving my script, going here, and here I want to execute install notepad script. Okay, let me run this. Transcript started writing. Okay, so this is downloading the file. Good, file is downloaded and then software is installed successfully. Within couple of seconds it has installed the software. So software is installed successfully and this can be validated here, as well as now I can see notepad++ is available in my system. How cool is that, right? For your knowledge, I want to add this. It depends a lot on the developer how they have packaged a particular installer file. For example, for this VLC, if I just go here and pass this switch, you can see it is opening this help section for us, where it is itself suggesting what are the parameters it will accept. So if I just give it quiet, then it will quietly install the package for me, right? Whereas for WinRAR, if I do the same thing, instead of giving that help section, it is directly opening the GUI. So not every installation file is same. You have to be careful about it. While most of the times this way of installing the software file will work, sometimes it may not, because it is not in our hands, right? Another thing that I want to add to your knowledge is, if you are working in Windows, you have Chocolaty as a package manager, right? So you can always go to find packages in Chocolaty and search for whatever package that you want to install. For example, WinRAR. So if I search this, I'm getting this statement over here. If I have Chocolaty installed in my system, I can directly execute this statement, which will itself take care of downloading the package and installing in my system, right? So the point is, whenever our package is available in Chocolaty and there is no organization policy blocking us from using it, we can make use of this and avoid reinventing the wheel. Alright, you awesome people, in this lecture we successfully developed this super awesome PowerShell script which takes care of end-to-end software installation for us. This is awesome, right? Now what I want you to do is, I have not done the error handling. Something can go wrong while downloading the file due to permission, internet issue and whatnot. As well as while installing the software, there are things that can go wrong. You should be mindful of these things and do the error handling wherever required. There are good chances that you do not deal with just one software, right? You might be interested in installing 4-5 softwares or more on hundreds of systems that you administer, right? So it is a good idea to specify multiple softwares along with their download URL in the beginning of script, and then make a for loop to iterate this logic over each item in that for loop and install multiple softwares on a system in single run of a PowerShell script. So if you have requirement to install multiple softwares, you can always do this. Next, we have kept all different scripts that are necessary for a software installation inside our PowerShell script. If you want to use this script to install a software on hundreds of computers, you can very well use this script along with your orchestration tool like Ansible, Chef, Puppet, etc. If you do not have any orchestration tool, you can use invoke command of PowerShell itself from a centralized location to run this script on multiple remote computers and install your software on those computers. Yes? Alright my dear friends, that's it for this lecture. Take good care of yourself. Thank you.